Warning, Ebola is coming. We have to talk about this deadly disease because it is a very harsh disease. And we have to understand that there are enemies in the world today of the United States. There are people who want to hurt the United States. There are people that we're shooting at. There's people that we have borders. And there's people who want to hurt. And all it would take is see one of these people to get a bunch of that virus and contaminate a couple of people and sneak it in. And we are sending 4,000 soldiers without high school education. And do you think they're not going to bring it back? We're sending them to Africa. Oh my God. We have to recognize this is indeed a realistic threat, and you need to be prepared. Now let's talk about how to get prepared. The solution is not in the antibiotics or in synthetic chemicals. That's what kills the people. Now the real enemy to mankind, who kills the most amount of people in the world, are a group of companies. You see, like white sugar, which I call the horse of conquest, of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Scientists have realized what this does and how it interferes with the immune system. Tobacco killing people, and allowed children under the age of consent. You see, the FDA knows all about it. They even let it happen. But children are allowed to get addicted and die from this. It takes a long time. You see, because this whole idea of what we can do to our environment and the pale horse, death, big pharma. And we're finding more and more that synthetic anything is an insult to the body. This is a pharmacological fact. We have to be able to deal with this, and these synthetics are not the answer to stimulating the immune system. We now know, as it's been told in Newsweek, etc., that antibiotics are not the solution. In fact, they make things worse. And that big tobacco, big sugar, big pharma, big banking, big money, big media, and they're all working against natural medicine. And we have to rise up like David to fight these Goliaths. We have to recognize that good health starts with good behavior. And this is an integral part of our system as we start with the SOC. We really have to understand if we're going to prepare for any virus, especially Ebola. It starts with good health. But now, you see, certain people don't get the Ebola infection. This has been found in the research. What is it about these people? Well, what the research shows us is that they have high amount of cytokines and chemosines. And see, not everybody who gets the Ebola dies from it. You understand? It has about a 54% mortality rate. This is dangerous, but not everybody dies of it. So we have to recognize, why don't somebody dies? Because of their immune system. Let's work on increasing the immune system and dealing with it. You see, this is a hemorrhagic virus making you bleed and destroying tissue, so it cannot be taken lightly. And once we get exposure, it takes a while for it to incubate. Now, at the very, very first exposure, this is when it's very important that we try to increase those cytokines and chemosines, then and only then. And this is part of our anti-inflammatory response. Bone marrow is linked to this. And the cytokines and the chemosines can be stimulated with bone marrow soup. It was very interesting to be able to see this. But if you stimulate the cytokines too much all the time, you won't get the effect. The bone broth can be used for many, many different things. And we were able to find in the studies that people who took the bone broth or the chicken soup made with chicken bones, that they got an increase in their immune system to fight virus. This is because the bone marrow is part of the vitamin C complex. Vitamin C is very rich in jalapeno peppers. And this vitamin C was discovered by a man named Albert St. Georgi, who was from Hungary. And I worked with him when he was in New Hampshire. And he helped to show us some ways that we could stimulate this chemokine and chemosine area. And vitamin C is one of them. But ascorbic acid is not all that vitamin C is. So this idea that synthetic is good for you is not right. We have to recognize, you see, as St. Georgi would laugh and say, he won the Nobel Prize for discovering vitamin C. But vitamin C is much more than ascorbic acid, he laughed. There's many things in it, and if you take too much vitamin C, your body will just normalize those chemosines and cytokines. You see, we have to take it when needed at the very, very first. Then it can inactivate the different viruses. Cinnamon and garlic can help as well. So all of these other things, but a large dose of vitamin C only helps at the right time, not to use it inappropriately. And by combining the peppers with the bone syrup, you see, because what scurvy is vitamin C deficiency, and that's what is very similar to what this virus is. This Ebola virus works to disable vitamin C in your body. And Albert St. George, he taught me so many things when I worked with him. And I later found out that he was actually Hungarian. It was a very interesting thing to work with this Nobel Prize winner. And what we found from these articles is that there is a way to stimulate. But you don't want to take the mega dose of vitamin C as a preventative. You take it when needed, when you think that you've got that first exposure, that first sign of risk. When you got that first sign of risk by touching somebody who has bad cold, that's when you want to take it. It's the shock of the excess in vitamin C that stimulates those protective events in the body that help the immune system. And that stimulation of the immune system is what we want. Because if we take this too much vitamin C too regular, our immune system will just adapt. We want to be able to get a charge out of it. All the different things that have good vitamin C in it. These should be part of our diet, and getting a good dose is good, but not taking extremely large doses until we actually know that we are exposed. When we have been exposed to any virus, then and only then a large dose of vitamin C will really, really help to reverse those things. I also worked with another great Hungarian, Hans Selye, who had the idea about stress. And he had the idea that stress accumulates and weakens the immune system. And oftentimes we only blame that last straw, but it's more than that. I picked up, after working with Dr. Selye, I picked up his work and tried to make a whole new idea, an idea that stress really is the cause of disease. And by weakening the immune system. Now, the Ebola virus comes from bats. It's transmitted through animals. But all types of some of these healing oils are very important as we want to get different types of oils into our body. UV light is helpful in killing the virus, but not inside the body, but while it's outside. UV light is very helpful. And that the new Eductor software program is designed to help. UV is sensitive in the tonic water, and a little bit of anisette with that makes Tamiflu. And that is very good at the second stage of exposure of the Ebola. When the very first stage, we want to take a good dose of the vitamin C, and we want to use those other things when in the secondary stage. You see, that's when it starts to attack deeper into the deep organs. And if this starts to bleed, then you really got a problem. Antibiotics will really destroy the bowel flora and make it a big problem. We want to make sure we get good, healthy bowel flora in order to defend ourselves, because that's one of the big problems with the antibiotics. It upsets the immune system by killing the bowel flora. So we want to make sure that we're going to be able to stop those things and balance the bowel flora. If you want to learn all about the immune system, I've written the books, done the movies to help to really teach you. And here's the book about what to do at home to build up your immune system. You want to have to learn what not to eat. That's more important than learning what to eat. Learn what not to eat. And learn that we need healthy oils, healthy sugars, not unhealthy, not boiled oils. Learn what to eat to have a good, healthy life. The immune-boosting foods are very important, will help your body. You see, because of this idea of herd immunity, they're going to be making vaccines. And if you don't take your vaccine, you could be put into a concentration camp. It is very, very possible. We can make a homeopathic immunization formula vaccine that you could even do at home if you want to do this, if the virus comes. But be very, very careful and do this with a professional. We want to make sure that a professional homeopath is helping us in doing these things. Now, as the Ebola virus starts to get deeper into the body if your immune system can't fight it at first. If you start to develop symptoms and you start to get these type of symptoms, now you need to step into the next step. The tonic and the anisette is very, very powerful at helping at this stage. Lots of good vitamin E sunflower oil. Lots of good oils are going to also be helpful. Good sugars, not the white sugars, good fruit sugars, etc. And especially these young living oils. These are very, very helpful at this stage. Lots of water. Very important. Most viruses are water soluble, and you can help to wash away those viruses by drinking lots of water in the beginning, making sure that you keep hydrated with a little touch of minerals, so a little bit of orange juice, etc. in there. And if you drink 8 ounces of water, it goes to the large intestine. Less than that will go to the small intestine. Reducing stress, because stress is the medical concern, as Dr. Chaulier taught us. And we built a whole science about this, using biofeedback to help reduce and melt the stress, nourish the spirit, and energize the body. I've made some antiviral ideas using coconut oil and other different oils, and a natural immune stim formula that you can use to help to stimulate your immune system at this early stage now. Because we're talking about stage 2. The system is penetrating into your body. Now, it's very important to get cabbage juice, lots and lots of cabbage juice. Cabbage juice has vitamin K in it, and it's the vitamin K that helps the body not to bleed. It's because of the effects of the bleeding is what kills people with this Ebola.
It is very important that we juice this item, the cabbage juice, and many of the other juices as well, to make sure we increase the nutrients.
Stop the sugars. It's very important. Stop the sugars. Get the lots of cabbage juice, lots of water. Make sure that you're getting none of these white processed sugars. Make sure you get your sugars from fruit, levulose, not from the dextrose, because we want to make sure that we keep their system better. We want to make sure we eliminate the trans fatty acids and nothing boiled in oil. Get good oil, good sugars. It's very important at this stage. Now, if it happens to get more and more into the body, cabbage juice helps to stop the bleeding. We use the tonic and the anisette to help decrease the effects. We want to make sure we get the vitamin K into the system. We want to make sure that we have to use it as a liquid, meaning juicing. It increases the availability and the absorption by using cabbage juice. Very important. We want to be able to make sure that we don't go into a cytokine storm. Sambuca, which is a very, very important remedy, it's elderberry. And this is a very, very important remedy. If there is a crisis stage, then the Sambuca can help stop the cytokine storm and save lives. We want to try to make sure we are avoiding the synthetics, using them only when absolutely necessary. Read the books, watch the movies, find out when it is time to go to the doctor. Use the cabbage juice, use the Sambuca, help to stop the extreme cascade, but save that Sambuca for later.
If you read the books, you'll find out the extreme importance of the timing. Certain herbs that we need to use in the beginning to stimulate a reduction of the virus, and then certain herbs that we use at the end to break up an inflammatory case. And we have to be very careful to understand the timing of this.
And recognize there are other nutrients, because love and respect are nutrients. Intellectual stimulation is a nutrient, and it stimulates the immune system as well. We teach you more and more about this with the Immune Home Study course. We teach you about all the different ways that we need to not give into these profit companies that have profit over people. We need to learn to work with immune, build up the education to learn about your immune system. And the education starts with teaching people what not to eat, what not to say, and what not to do. Then we teach what to eat, how to exercise, reduce stress, interact, show love and respect. Medicine without compassion is not medicine, it's just placation. Compassion is the greatest gift humans can offer to one another. Compassion is the most potent healer of all time. So work compassion in with your system and to help people to understand that the body heals itself and physician heal thyself. If you have questions, you can go and ask, and God will reveal unto your sight. And we can help you learn more. We can answer your questions of what to do, and I can provide help for you there. This is on a Facebook site. Now, as we move into this, we recognize that now there's a showdown. There's going to be a showdown of these drug companies and their concentration camps, and this Ebola is going to provide the ammunition. And we, on the other side, know that those vaccines are dangerous, and those antibiotics are the major cause of the problem. So now we have to defend ourselves. Here, working with Mandalay, we have made a new system of software for you with exact treatment for these different types of viruses, including the Ebola. So I recommend that you get the new software, operate it, learn more, watch the videos, read the books, and I'll be presenting more and more details to you. As we now fight this battle and we fight this showdown, let's hope that we win. Desiree Dubonnet signing off.